What if I told you that hidden in the ancient plains of Turkey lies a structure older than the pyramids of Egypt and Stonehenge, challenging our very understanding of human history? Built over 12,000 years ago, Göbekli Tepe reveals secrets that could change everything we know about human civilization. But who built it and why? Imagine a place where nomadic people, without the aid of metal tools or animal power, erected a complex that defies explanation. Today, we will embark on a journey back in time, into the deep mysteries of Göbekli Tepe, where every carving and geometric pattern hints at a connection to the stars and a lost civilization. What secrets does Göbekli Tepe hide? What was the purpose of its construction? What do the latest archaeological discoveries reveal about the people who built it? And is there hidden knowledge locked in its stones, waiting to be discovered? We will find out together in the new episode of Secret Origins. Welcome! Göbekli Tepe is a Neolithic archaeological site in southeastern Anatolia, Turkey. It is known for its large circular structures containing massive stone pillars, identified as the world's oldest known megaliths. Many of these pillars are adorned with anthropomorphic details and sculptural reliefs of wild animals, providing archaeologists rare opportunities to study the prehistoric religion and iconography of the period. The structures vary in size, ranging from 9 to 30 meters in diameter. So far, only 4 of these circular enclosures have been discovered, but geophysical studies suggest that there could be at least 16 more, each containing up to 8 T-shaped stone pillars. This implies that the entire Göbekli Tepe complex may contain a total of around 200 such pillars. The intriguing aspect of these structures is their uniform design. Each circle contains 2 large T-shaped pillars at the center, facing each other. These pillars, carved from local limestone, were quarried approximately 100 meters from the construction site and then transported to their final positions. The question of whether these structures were roofed remains speculative, but the presence of plaster remnants on the walls supports this hypothesis. Studies of the reliefs and other elements on the pillars suggest that they were likely covered with roofs.
The carbon dating in all the area around Göbekli Tepe is somewhere around 12,000 years. Is that correct?
11,600.
Göbekli Tepe is believed to have been inhabited from around 9,500 to at least 8,000 BC during the pre-pottery Neolithic period. The site was first discovered in the 1960s, but its true significance was not initially realized. It was thought to be a Byzantine graveyard under the hill. Interest in the site only arose after a local shepherd unearthed one of the columns in 1994, revealing a relief depicting a strange animal. This piqued the interest of German archaeologist Klaus Schmidt from the German Archaeological Institute, who had previously been researching the Neolithic settlement of Novaluchori and decided to investigate the hill. Excavations began in 1995, and since then they have continuously received funding to explore the site to this day. Early in the archaeological research, it became clear that the artifacts belonged to an object dating from the Stone Age. The archaeologist devoted a significant part of his professional experience to searching for the hidden pieces of history beneath the surface of Göbekli Tepe. Despite facing numerous opponents to his theories, he documented all his findings. Shortly after completing his last work in 2014, he passed away. He was the first to open a door to the past, dating back more than 10,000 years, uncovering mysterious underground chambers hidden deep within the hill. Instead of finding remains of objects that tell about the life of our ancestors, the research at Göbekli Tepe reveals that there are no fireplaces, furnaces, or any traces of domestic life, making it unsuitable for permanent habitation. In contrast to the site of Novaluchori, which at least in its later phases was home to early sedentary farmers.
And he said basically 50 times as much as they've already excavated is still under the ground, that there's hundreds and hundreds of giant stone pillars that they've identified with ground-penetrating radar.
Göbekli Tepe was more of a mystical place than a home. According to Schmidt, Göbekli Tepe was a spiritual center for rich nomadic people, reminiscent of our Paleolithic ancestors. Paradoxically, the highest levels of Göbekli Tepe reveal some of the largest and most impressive monolithic pillars and animal carvings, defying all logic. Over time, the monoliths seem to shrink and become more modest. As if, instead of being the beginning of everything, Göbekli Tepe appears as the end of a long mythological tradition, stretching back in time, far before the Ice Age. In the mysterious depths of Göbekli Tepe, where there are no traces of established agriculture, lies a place that seems entirely devoted to ceremonies. Underground excavations reveal dwellings built not by early Neolithic farmers, but by hunter-gatherers who lived in harmony with the wild nature. The site carries the same sacred aura as Delphi in Greece or Cusco in Peru, mystical centers of the earth, where believers arrive from distant lands to participate in festival celebrations, raising magnificent monuments in honor of the ancient gods and ancestors. At first glance, especially during the summer, Göbekli Tepe appears to be an inhospitable place with no apparent source of water. It is possible that the large stone rings at the site served as cisterns for rainwater. From the top of the hill, springs can be seen scattered around, like those in nearby Balik. Perhaps even more existed in antiquity, but they have long since dried up. According to the archaeologist Schmidt, the construction of each such circle would have required at least 500 people, and its raising should have been within the framework of a single event, lasting weeks or months, carried out without the help of animal power or metal tools. The excavations at Göbekli Tepe also reveal a rich collection of animal remains: cattle, pigs, goats, and an abundance of gazelles. All of them, after thorough research by world experts, have been identified as wild, with a different bone structure from their domestic counterparts. The same fate befalls the plant remains, wild almonds, pistachios, and grains, which still thrive in the region to this day.
We thought hunter-gatherers could not do something like this because to do that you need a large population with a division of labor.
In the late 90s, the thought emerged that Göbekli Tepe was the site where, for the first time, hunter-gatherers began experimenting with agriculture. Excavations have shown that Göbekli Tepe was built and inhabited during the earliest part of the Neolithic in Southwest Asia, marking the appearance of the world's oldest permanent human settlement. This period, known as the Neolithic Revolution, is associated with the beginning of agriculture, but archaeologists are divided on whether agriculture was the reason people settled in one place or vice versa. This idea is supported by the discovered sickle blades and early forms of wild wheat. One of the first theories suggests that the controlled use of grain foods was a reaction to the depletion of local resources by increasingly large groups of people gathering for long periods. In his book After the Ice Age, Stephen Mithun describes adepts ritually exchanging seeds during ancient ceremonies before spreading important messages and stories. From other places around the world, such as Stonehenge, we know that stone circles and megaliths are powerful symbols of change that echo through the centuries, providing us with the opportunity to peek into the deep history of humanity. The circles, with their precisely oriented megaliths, are often associated with astronomical observations and rituals, demonstrating the ancient knowledge of the stars and seasons. Their strict design and execution suggest the advanced engineering and mathematical skills of our ancestors. Walking in the footsteps to unravel the mystery of Göbekli Tepe, undoubtedly one of the most interesting sources of information are the locals. For the inhabitants of these ancient lands, the hill has been a symbol of tradition and cultural heritage. The Kurdish communities, residing in the area for generations, have tended to a sacred tree on one of the hills, which lies at the heart of their spring rituals. During the spring equinox, locals decorated the branches with cloths, each symbolizing their wishes for the future. Over time, this sacred land garnered archaeological interest, resulting in the restriction of centuries-old traditions and customs. The excavations at the site led to the loss of the original tree, a symbol of these rituals. In response, the Kurdish community, known for its resilience and adaptability, planted a new tree in the same place to continue the tradition. Despite the new restrictions, they continue to honor the site and perform their rituals, albeit in a more limited scope. Remarkably, during these rituals, residents use stone pottery from Göbekli Tepe, dating back about 12,000 years, making it one of the oldest archaeological sites known to date. This idea that Göbekli Tepe has been a part of the locals' life and culture for centuries, while for the rest of the world it is a relatively recent discovery, sparks great excitement. But what do we know about the people who lived and worked at Göbekli Tepe? Skeletal remains of human bodies are exceedingly rare, comprising only a few hundred bone fragments, of which 2/3 are skull fragments. Few of them show signs of decapitation and defleshing, and alarmingly, 3 of them have drilled holes, perhaps to be hung or mounted on a pole. The possibility of permanent habitation at Göbekli Tepe has long been a subject of debate and speculation among scholars, and the human skeletal remains found add more mystery to this ancient and enigmatic place. This is a small window into those ancient times, where the remains may represent the revered remains of beloved ancestors. This may be related to the so-called skull cult, which continued in the Levant for thousands of years and even predates Göbekli Tepe. The rituals in nearby Kianu also should not be overlooked. There, on a bloody altar, ritualistic human sacrifices may have been performed, potentially shedding light on the darker side of the Göbekli Tepe phenomenon, although direct irrefutable evidence of the connection between the sites and the history has yet to be found.
The notion that a group of hunter-gatherers wake up one morning and invent megalithic architecture, the world's largest megalithic site, and at the same moment invent agriculture, stretches credulity a bit. And I think I would prefer to propose, and I have proposed, that what we're looking at is evidence of some kind of transfer of technology, that people came into that area who had other knowledge.
Göbekli Tepe, with its extraordinary complexity, overturns our understandings of ancient civilizations. Until recently, it was believed that massive megalithic structures arise only after the development of agriculture, when communities already have access to enough food, allowing them to focus on large-scale construction endeavors. However, Göbekli Tepe stands out as an exception to this rule, showing us a facility built in an era where there is still no evidence of a sedentary lifestyle or agriculture in the area, with the first convincing evidence of agricultural activity appearing 1,000 years later. Göbekli Tepe raises the idea that the site may have been built during the dawn of agriculture, emphasizing that the discoveries made there are currently the oldest known. And, speaking of the oldest, let's go back to the book thought to describe our history from the first day of creation, namely the Bible. The origin of our civilization is presumably from an earthly paradise, which, accepting Jewish legends as part of the puzzle of our existence, is a place located on Earth, specifically in the region of Eastern Anatolia, where we also find the oldest remains of our ancestors. 2 of the 4 rivers emanating from the paradise are easily identified as the Euphrates and Tigris, both of which originate in the region of Eastern Anatolia. The other 2 rivers are more disputed, but one of them is likely the Aras River, which flows east from the same region of Eastern Anatolia towards the Caspian Sea, and the best evidence for the 4th river points to the Arcus River, which flows from Eastern Anatolia and merges with the Tigris in Iraq. All 4 are within about 5,000 miles, which, in perspective, is a relatively short distance. Now, turning to recent discoveries, we can identify the same region as the cradle of civilization. Around 9000 BC, a period scientists refer to as the Neolithic Revolution, marked a turning point in climate, agricultural practices, and various other aspects, ultimately leading to the rise of civilization. And we assume that this beginning for humanity is enclosed between the covers of a sacred book that simultaneously raises numerous questions while providing explanations. But what more can we understand from the artifacts left by these ancient people? What did they believe in? What was their culture like? Did they have a connection with another civilization? To answer these questions, we turn to the artifacts found at the site, hoping to glean more insights. Among the more common motifs depicted in Göbekli Tepe is the snake, often associated by cultures worldwide with the underworld. In the late 80s, one of the most memorable finds at Nevala Chori was the so-called snake bearer, a statue larger than human height with a venomous lizard bursting from the bald head's back. In nearby Karahan Tepe, many similar snake images have been found, carved on stone vessels, as well as scorpions, another animal associated with the realm of the dead. On the stones of Göbekli Tepe, many ideograms and symbols have been found, which are still not deciphered but are assumed to have meaning and significance. The exploration of the mystery surrounding Göbekli Tepe continues to this day.
I think we're actually at the beginning of opening up this inquiry, not at the end of it.
Archaeologists, driven by curiosity about the past, discovered a series of new findings in 2023, which add new layers to the already rich history of this ancient site. The already discovered images, carved into the stone structures of Göbekli Tepe, are joined by human and animal statues, which present a significantly broader picture of the cultural and religious practices of these ancient communities. Among them, the most impressive is the painted statue of a wild boar, which shows refined artistic skills and perhaps religious significance. These artifacts not only demonstrate a high level of craftsmanship, but also suggest a complex social structure and spiritual hierarchy. Professor Harald Hauptmann, a German prehistoric archaeologist, suggests that the images from Göbekli Tepe have a shamanistic basis. The wild boar, bull, fox, lion, gazelle, birds, and snakes are animal symbols whose particular abilities were of interest to Neolithic shamans, either to master or oppose them. The discovered geometric pattern in the arrangement of the stone circles provides us an idea of the complex symbolism that was part of their cultural and religious traditions. These patterns, perhaps reflecting astronomical knowledge, underline the importance of Göbekli Tepe as a center for cultural and likely ceremonial events. Recent excavations at Göbekli Tepe and nearby Karahan Tepe reveal that this region was culturally and religiously significant to ancient communities. The new discoveries not only highlight the importance of the entire region as a key center during the Neolithic, adding new chapters to the narrative of the beginning of a sedentary lifestyle and the development of early communities, but also challenge us to rethink the way we view the development of human civilization. The opportunity to peer into the past through these artifacts provides us with a unique insight into the cultures and beliefs that shape the foundations of our own history. Andrew Collins, a renowned researcher and author of 15 books on various mysteries, describes the prehistoric significance of the site, dating from 10,000 to 12,000 years ago, and also emphasizes the ceremonial or civic nature of the site, suggesting that although people did not live there permanently, they likely gathered for specific rituals. He notes the uniqueness of Göbekli Tepe, built at a time when cities still did not exist, and society was predominantly composed of nomadic hunter-gatherers. This insight underscores the historical and archaeological significance of the site, offering a view into the complex social and ritual practices of our ancient ancestors. He suggests that each of the buildings was built in about a year, and that the entire site was constructed in stages over approximately 1,500 years. The oldest structures are extremely complex and advanced, while the newer ones are significantly smaller and simpler. During the construction of Göbekli Tepe, coinciding with the so-called Neolithic Revolution, for the first time in human history, agriculture, domestic animal husbandry, metallurgy, and even the first beer and wine appeared. Collins emphasizes that this is not a coincidence, and that these events are closely related to Göbekli Tepe.
Is some sign of some sort of civilization.
Regarding theories of extraterrestrial influence, Collins does not believe that Göbekli Tepe was a landing site for aliens. However, contrary to his theory, the area is marked by numerous UFO sightings. The images on the stones are unusual and unique, also suggesting contact with an extraterrestrial civilization. The pyramidal tops of Göbekli Tepe depict various animals and birds, some of which are dangerous and aggressive, possibly reflecting the hunter's mentality. Even for researchers, it is perplexing why this site was built and what its purpose was, especially considering that similar stone structures have not been found anywhere else in the world except at Göbekli Tepe. According to findings, many doubt that this site could have been built by hunter-gatherers and suggest the presence of an advanced civilization. Göbekli Tepe is considered the world's first monumental architecture, exceptionally technologically advanced for its time. Naturally, this raises the question, could Göbekli Tepe be part of a lost civilization? Researcher Collins suggests that the people who created Göbekli Tepe came from the north, passing through the Caucasus Mountains and the Russian steppe. There is a theory that the construction of Göbekli Tepe may be related to the catastrophic event of a comet impact around 10,800 BC, known as the Younger Dryas. This event led to massive fires, a nuclear winter, and a mini ice age, leaving deep marks in human history. The same theory suggests that the construction of Göbekli Tepe was a way for people to cope with the fear of a recurrence of a similar disaster, termed catastrophobia by the writer Barbara Clow. Shamans played a crucial role in this process, offering rituals and practices to protect against the looming threat. Over time, as more catastrophes did not occur, the significance of Göbekli Tepe diminished. Göbekli Tepe and the artifacts found by archaeologists are associated with the heavenly world and are believed to have had a special significance as a portal between the physical world and other dimensions. It connects Göbekli Tepe with other ancient sites and figures, such as the Swiss writer Erich von Däniken and the ancient text, the Apocryphon of Abraham, in which Abraham talks about encountering beings not of this world. Erich von Däniken believes in extraterrestrial presence at that time, emphasizing the global significance of the site. Based on the theory that the site was inhabited by a lost civilization, the builders of Göbekli Tepe supposedly used the monument as portals or stargates to connect with celestial gods or beings. Entering an altered state of consciousness, it is pointed out that all these twin monoliths were oriented towards a specific star in the sky, Deneb, the brightest star in the constellation Cygnus. This star was important to ancient people, as shown by many ancient monuments around the world directed towards it. The ancients believed that the souls of the deceased could ascend to the heavens through the star Deneb. Another star also figures in the theories and could be related to the mysterious Göbekli Tepe, the star Tabi, officially known as KIC 8462852, with its unusual and difficult-to-explain light activity and behavior, is also linked to technologies of extraterrestrial civilizations. The hypothesis, put forward by astronomer Jason Wright and several others, suggests that Tabi is linked to a Dyson sphere, a hypothetical megastructure built by extraterrestrial civilizations to capture and use the energy of their star. Experiments have also been conducted for meditative communication with Tabi's star. It's worth noting that on the day of the experiment, a dimming of the star was observed. While some may consider it a coincidence, it is speculated that this might have been a result of the attempt. The influence of human consciousness on cosmic objects and the possibility of feedback between the observer and the observed are increasingly intriguing us. But are we learning something new, or rather remembering something already learned, which the ancient people knew and used? It is suggested that ancient monuments, not only in Göbekli Tepe, which are astronomically oriented, were created under the influence of extraterrestrials. This suggests that our ancestors used mathematical models, possibly as a form of message or information. Equally likely and often theorized is that ancient people had knowledge of Pythagorean triangles and astronomy, which were lost over time, but which are important for understanding our past and future. Could it be that the ancient people knew something that we are only now discovering? Possible interaction with extraterrestrials or higher knowledge related to the stars? As beliefs and theories about Tabi's star continue to be the subject of scientific discussions and research, it remains one of the most mysterious and interesting objects in modern astronomy, stimulating the imagination of both scientists and space enthusiasts. The link of these theories to terrestrial life and the artifacts we study to this day almost leaves no room for doubt that our ancestors had skills that we, in the modern world with our technologies, fail to reach. In the very heart of the ancient world, the enigmatic complex of Göbekli Tepe continues to present an insurmountable mystery in the world of archaeology. This prehistoric wonder, emerging from the ground as evidence of skills and knowledge unseen until now, raises more questions than answers. How was it possible for an ancient, densely populated community to build and maintain such a monumental complex? This is the place where history and mystery meet, leaving us to wonder about the motives that led to the creation of these magnificent structures. The mystery deepens even further when we examine the reliefs depicting a variety of animals, from lions and wild boars to birds and insects, each interpretation of which proves to be a challenge for scholars. The ancient pictograms are still shrouded in mystery, and understanding their true meaning remains elusive. In this ancient economic context, the organization of such large-scale construction remains elusive to our modern understanding. Göbekli Tepe stands as a silent witness to a forgotten era, hiding within itself the answers to age-old questions about the beginning of human civilization. Its mystical presence continues to inspire and challenge science, making us look even deeper into the veiled pages of our past, and who knows, perhaps also our future. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, subscribe, and check out our related videos on the screen right now. Keep your minds open, and until we meet again.